I'll do it on the perfect. Okay, that sounds good. So we're
Beautiful.
recording in every possible place. We could be recording. That's so funny. Hi, everybody. So I'm here with my friend Charlotte, and Charlotte knows how it feels like to be lost, the feeling of there must be more. Anxieties, depression, burnout, and panic attacks were part of the journey for her. Even though she was successful as a CEO, she didn't feel fulfilled and almost feeling as if there was no place for her in this world. Like, how many of you maybe feel that way now or have felt that way for sure? So for her, fleeing into spirituality and not wanting to go back didn't make it better. And then she realized how to integrate spirituality into her body, which led to living her purpose and finding fulfillment, which seems like a really interesting take on, we'll get into this, on the whole life purpose kind of journey. She quit everything and started to work in the field of Reiki. Many of you are Reiki practitioners, neuro-linguistic programming, and psychological counseling, which led her to combined energy work with psychology. Working for one of the most prestigious coaches in Austria, Charlotte's based in Europe, she collected experience and helped hundreds of people on the journey of finding their purpose and bringing it to the world by teaching how to integrate spirituality into your body, and through that manifesting the purpose into the world. Really beautiful process. She believes that today is not just spiritual or successful, spiritual or psychology, but it's about integrating the spiritual knowledge into our bodies and materializing the greatness that we truly are. Really beautiful. Charlotte, really fun to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to talk to you, Connie. It's always such a pleasure to join and be with you and talk to you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. And before I forget, here we are, we're talking about life purpose. And I already actually posted the link to Charlotte's upcoming 3-day free challenge above the video here that you can go over and opt in for right away. But she actually helped me with my life purpose this summer when I was just in this massive transition, just trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. And, I had this career as a business coach, and, many of us, right, especially in the last 3 years, right, we've all kind of been through some version of that, chances are. And so I can just highly recommend her work. It was really, really, really life-changing. And I'm someone who teaches about life purpose. So hopefully that means something. So Charlotte, I know you're on the mission of helping coaches or personal development enthusiasts find and live their purpose and live their unique gifts. So why do you think that so many people still have the challenge to live their purpose, even though they have already done so much work on themselves or are even themselves on that path?
Yeah, it's because I think a lot of people have a certain expectation of purpose, or they have a certain thing where they think, okay, it has to be this one thing. It has to be this, like, doctor or lawyer, or like I'm this and that coach. But actually, it's not about that. It's actually about becoming who you truly are, your authentic self. And sometimes the purpose can be like joy, or sometimes purpose can be something like bringing love to the world. And then the form can change in different varieties. So sometimes people, and I include myself, it's sometimes to really let go of that thing. It has to be this one thing, but rather to go introspective and see what is really that wants to be created from the inside to the outside. What brings me joy? What brings me happiness and love? And how can I start expanding that into the world? And everything else, the material thing, like the form, the shape, will come out of that. So it's before that, it's going inside rather than looking in the outside. And a lot of people are looking in the outside. What is it? What is my purpose? My one thing I'm here supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what is life purpose, and how is it connected to our unique gifts?
Well, the life purpose, as I just said, is more about becoming who you truly are. So, what does that mean? It means that we are coming to this world, being in a specific identity, growing up as a specific identity, meaning we become certain beliefs, so the cultural things that we become, family, schools that teach us how we are supposed to be. And in that process, we're starting to forget who we are.
Mm,
So, who we truly are, because we're adapting and fulfilling expectations from the outside. So, becoming your purpose again means, on one side, to really, like the onion, to get off these onion, the onion wraps around it. So, these beliefs that we have, to kind of struck them off, but at the same time to also find the connection to our spirituality, to our essence, and then start integrating that more and more into our body, and overcoming that fear that we have to really move on and actually walk that path.
It's like kind of an amazing process. And so this idea of mystical psychology, what does that mean, and how is it connected to the work that you do?
Yes. So I came up with mystical psychology, and I'm in the process of founding a academy that's gonna come in the next 1-2 months. But it's about that we don't say, okay, this is spirituality, and start spiritual bypassing, which I also understand because I was there.
Mm,
It was always very easy for me to dissociate, so to go out of my body. So when I came into spirituality, it was like, yay, I finally have, like, I'm cool. I can like go and really in other dimensions, and I can be like travel through the universe, but I'm not in my body. And it was, of course, I felt like one with everything and pure bliss. But the problem is that I stopped living my life as a human being. Emotions, our daily troubles that we have, our daily things that we have. So, and then on the other side, we have psychology, where I was also, and then I started to get lost in, childhood trauma, and not, getting stuck there, and, getting obsessed about transforming all my childhood and all there is. But the truth is, they're two extremes, and it's about really interconnecting it, and becoming the spirituality in your body and bringing it to the world.
mm,
Because once we start bringing it into our body, and it's nothing like fleeing somewhere,
mhm,
we start to get to actually materialize that bliss,
mm, mm,
materialize
mm,
that joy, or whatever we experience as our essence, or God, or whatever you may call it. So, if we start embodying it, and at the same time releasing what's keeping us from it and walking from that path, that is mystical psychology to me, and much more. So we get a lot of help, guides and angels and all these kind of things. So also understanding how I can start living my unique psychic gifts,
mm,
because
mm,
actually we all have them, being clairvoyant, audiovoyant, psychic in any ways, but to really embody these gifts and be like, okay, I don't have to be afraid of them, but I can actually use them to create a better world, to
mm,
create a
mm,
world that we're going into. And I believe now is the time where it's going to be super important to connect to these gifts, to connect to that intuition, and
mm,
to really embody it and to bring it to the world, because we're going a huge change.
mhm,
Yes.
mhm. Can you explain just what, because I think I know what you mean, but spiritual bypassing,
Mm.
I think I know what it is, and I know there are probably people who are watching who may not be
Yes.
completely sure what spiritual bypassing
Yes.
is. good to know about either way.
Yes, absolutely. So I didn't know about it until I was actually in that process. So it's when I started entering in the spirituality, then it's like everything becomes beautiful and everything becomes like wow, and everything is love and we're just good and everything is just about goodness in the world, and we're like kind of wavy and airy, and and everything is just like, oh, let's love and peace and that kind of state. And when I started working with my mentor, he always told me, come back. And I never understood what he meant. So I was like, I'm completely here. I don't know what you're meaning. And then he's like, no, come back into your body. You're not here. And I bumped into tables because I was always like this, like, like everything's amazing. Just like go with the flow and just be easy, just like chill. And I realized after a time, I was also disconnected to my emotions. So to all the things like anger, being frustrated, being sad, being so all these kind of worldly things, because I thought, oh, no, that's not good. That's not lightful. That's not how I'm supposed to be. I'm pure light. I'm like this, and I'm exaggerating now because I really want to make a point here, but it's about coming back in the sense of really feeling the emotions, understanding we're light and we're dark, we have shadow sides, also experiencing the shadow sides. So imperfection is why we're here, what we're here to experience. And sometimes it's very hard to take, especially when, like for me, I was very traumatized. So if there's a lot of traumatization, it's so beautiful if you just have the beauty and
to
not
just kind of go out someplace and like,
yeah.
And
just have the beautiful and be like, bye.
Yeah.
And especially traumatized people have that a lot. And as I said, I was there. And so that's where again, like this mystic and the psychology come apart, because it's about looking at the trauma, feeling the trauma, and at the same time becoming more that real spiritual person where you can actually embody this acceptance, this love, compassion, who you truly are with everything you are.
So it also makes me, because you have this background as a CEO, right? Can we say where it was, just so people
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to just like
really short. Yeah, I was in the fashion
industry that you were in, the fashion industry, right?
I was in the fashion industry, luxury fashion industry. And I was a CEO in Austria, and I had up to 50 people working for me. So it was, I had a really good salary. I had everything, beautiful dresses, and people would be like, oh, you're so successful. I'm always like, I don't know who they're talking about. I'm depressed, so it's, yeah. But
I can see, I guess I'm asking that because I can see how, I mean, that would be, and like my background is, we've talked, and you and I have talked, my background is in financial services, and those are both just industries that are so kind of grounded in the 3D physical world and capitalist values and that kind of thing, right? And so to switch on kind of the spirituality bulb, right?
yes.
And then kind of transcend all that, right? I mean, of course you want to just like leave all that stuff behind, and not just physically, but like just kind of do your spiritual thing and, kind of be in la la land, right? Because it just, it's, and I may be putting words in your mouth, but when I hear you talk about, I mean, and at least for me, it was such a relief and such a heart-opening experience to go from a very, really closed-hearted industry, the financial service industry, how I experienced it, and then to open up to the spirituality. And it's just like a whole new world, right? So you're just like in heaven, literally, like Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I feel you, and I totally agree. For me, it was the same. It was such a relief. Finally, it was this feeling of coming home and being finally like allowing myself to be me,
Mhm.
in my intuition, in my empathy, in all my gifts,
Mm.
and allowing myself also to be that. And yeah, in the industry and fashion industry, it was not about my intuition, it was about spreadsheets and money and faster and like higher, bigger, like why not yesterday? And yeah, so it was difficult.
Yeah. And what
Yeah.
a lot of courage it takes, right? To like shut the door on that. I mean, if people like you and I, like former colleagues, could see like us having this conversation, you know what I mean? It's just like so different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that you've done like life purpose work a lot in the past, right? But is there kind of a shift or a different way that you're approaching that with your clients, more recently?
Yes, because I feel that we're currently in a world that is also shifting. It's shifting in several ways. I mean, through also Corona and AI coming and all these things. So these times give us a lot of possibility, because when the world is in a big shift, and also in the outside, we can also shift, we can start creating new things. So there's a lot of possibility in and room to bring new things to the world, and there's also a need for it.
Mm.
And I feel that the more people start connecting to really to their abilities, to their essence, and to their unique gifts, and to the psychic capabilities, that they see what they have to bring out to the world.
Mhm.
And it's actually what the world needs now, because I think the world as we see it today is not in 5 years, in 10 years, it's going to be a whole different world. And it's going to be with new kinds of jobs, with new kinds of things in every sense. And the more people start really going in there and says, okay, what am I here to create? What am I here to expand on? That's going to help the world to develop.
Mhm.
And I really
Mhm.
truly believe that. So the more people connect to their purpose, we will see a different world.
And you'll create it, right? You'll co-create that. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty exciting time to be alive, really.
Absolutely. It's like incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, like how lucky are we, right? To be able to like, yeah. And so you've got this free 3-day challenge coming up, right? In a couple of weeks. How is that, how's that tied and the name of it and how's that tied to what we've been talking about, and how's that like seem like the next logical step for people who are watching the video?
So the name of the challenge is Unapologetically You, and it's about really connecting to that essence, connecting to that heart space, to connect to that spiritual side, whatever you call it, and also going into the part of action. So there will be on the first day, it's 3 days. On the first day, we will go into what is your purpose? What is purpose? Where like really connect to that space.
Mm.
On the second day, we will really go into taking the action. So what does it need? Because a lot about spirituality, people have a hard time getting into action because they're not in their bodies. So it's about getting into the body and really bringing it into action, bringing it on paper. And the third day is about finding out what is keeping you from it. So, what are the limiting beliefs? What are the blockages? What are the fears that are keeping you from walking this path? And we start even to go into a transformation of one belief.
Mm. Mm.
Yes. So these are the 3 days. So it's absolutely impeccable because it's kind of It's 3 days intensive, really connecting to yourself and bringing it there.
That's great. And of course, it's online, right? So yeah, that's great. So I posted, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's posted above the video, but then I just posted it in the comment section as well. And I did tag you, Charlotte. So if people want to, because you're in my group, of course. So if you have questions, I assume it's okay for people, they can just click on where you're tagged there in the comments if they have a question about the challenge or your work.
Absolutely. I love questions because I feel like there's a lot of people sometimes have fear of reaching out. And I'm really asking you, reach out, because there's nothing that can happen. I'm not going to bite or anything else. So please reach out and ask whatever is on your mind or bring a comment. I'm very happy to read them.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna go because the work you and I did was just so transformational for me this summer. I'm gonna go sign up for that challenge myself because I definitely want to kind of get that second injection of life purpose work. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy and I can't wait. You're joining. I'm super, super excited about that. Thank you so much, Connie.
Yeah, it was great to have you. Any last thing that you want to, I mean, I'll just tell you this and then you can, I'm
Yeah.
answering my own question here, but I really want you to answer it. But I'm giving a talk for a colleague for some of her clients this Thursday in a couple of days. And it's about, speaking and using Meetup to, really get out there and help a lot of people in the world. And I was reading through my talk this morning, and got to the part where, when you give talks and workshops, like you and I are doing here, right? Facebook Live, it's not just going to, one person, it's going to whoever watches it in this, Facebook group that has, 6,000 people in it, right? So, but so my talk, and what I was saying is that when you do talks, whether they're online or they're in person, you're sharing your gifts and talents with the world, and how important it is for all of us. Like there are people out there right now, like me this summer, right? Like I was like really trying to figure my stuff out, and then you showed up, right? So that's just a perfect example of there are people out there who need your help right now. Whether you realize it, not you, Charlotte, but people who are watching, whether you realize it or not, right? There are people, and it's so important to get out there now and help people. And as I was reading this script, I started choking up. It's just like, anyway, so it's so important. So I don't know if any kind of last words that you want to say about life purpose or the challenge or anything else.
I think I can't express it more than now is the time. Really, it's such a great time to enter this process, and fear is normal. So if you have fear, it's just normal. You're just a normal human being. And then just recognize it and say, okay, I'll take care of that later, and just go for it, because nothing can happen to you. You're completely safe. And it's time for you to step into your greatness and to what you have to really share with this world and be seen for who you really are. And it's so needed and so important. I can't, like you just where you can't even find words anymore, because there's so much importance of it.
Yeah, totally. And then you can really co-create, that new world that's coming, right? That we've all been asking for. That's finally here. And so, but to sign up for your challenge, Charlotte, it's free. And that's an easy, baby step. If you're feeling at all tentative, just a little baby step to sign up for something that's free and, get access to some of Charlotte's wonderful kind of wisdom on this topic.
And there's even on the free challenge, I even have a bonus, which is like incredible for everybody who's participating, which will really help them to take the first step. So I'm so excited, and I so look forward to every single soul and person who's coming. Yeah,
That's great. That's great. Yeah, so fun to talk to you, Charlotte. So go sign up for Charlotte's challenge. And if you have questions, feel free to post under this video, do the @Charlotte or @Cornelia so that, we kind of get tagged and can go in and answer questions. But yeah, go in and sign up for the challenge, and I'll see you over there.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye, Charlotte. Thanks for being
Bye.
here.
Thank you so much for having me, Connie. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.